42?
Okay, well, we're going to switch scenes anyway.
Hmm.
I'm going to be pulling up the VOD that we're reviewing for this VOD review. Okay, should be shared in Discord. And let me know when we're live.
Let me get there real quick. Okay.
All right, cool. Should be good to go. Alrighty, and I believe you guys can see my mouse. So we're watching Storm here. Storm is the Enperry's player on purple team. I believe this was actually collected based on the player periodically using the capture button to capture like 10 different segments, I think, of the match and just piece them together with editing software after the fact. So if there are little skips here and there that look a little bit off, that's probably what it is that you're looking at. And we get to see how they handle a Hydra Splatling, which is a particular challenge for a frontline weapon that's pushing in. They need to know exactly when and how to do that. I think it's going to be an extra challenging affair for Storm because Storm is using the Enperry Dualies, which only have a curling bomb. If you can bomb a Hydra out, that helps a lot more than a curling bomb. So when I say bomb them out, I mean throw a splat bomb or a suction bomb at them, or maybe even burst bombs, something that's going to immediately displace them. A curling bomb is going to bump you a little bit, maybe, and if you time it like an absolute legend, then maybe you can get a pick with it, but it is the smallest blast radius of any of the bombs. Very atypical to get splats with it. It's usually more for movement than anything. So the Enperries used to be meta because they have a curling bomb which lets them move into position really quickly, and they just had really fast times to splat on top of having ink jets, so they just moved very, very fast. They got into enemy territory before anybody else could, and they were already going for picks as quickly as possible. But there were a number of different changes to the game that made Dualies a lot less viable, one of the big ones being the addition of main power-up. Main power-up made it so that weapons like the K-Pro and the Bamboozler were a lot more viable. There was also a buff incidental to that time that buffed the Nautilus Splatling to give it very, very fast shot velocity. And those three weapons are absolutely brutal on any frontline weapon because of their range and their very fast kill times. On top of that, the Dualies got an effective nerf because the way that MPU weapons work, the weapons that get their kill time sped up by MPU, is they're not actually going to get you to 100 damage. They're going to do 99.9 or 99.8 or something like that with the amount of MPU that they've got. And so they rely on you having stood on enemy ink for a few frames for you to have enough damage for them to, if you're the K-Pro, two-shot you, for the Bamboo, one-shot you, things like that. And Dualies, one of their primary movement advantages is the ability to still move quickly through enemy ink by dodge rolling. The problem is that you don't want to be moving through enemy ink anymore because it makes you susceptible to two-shot weapons and, MPU weapons, basically. So Dualies have fallen out of the meta significantly. Weapons that are better at swim strafing, painting their feet that don't rely on the dodge rolls for their fastest kill time. Those are the weapons that are seeing the most use in the Slayer class right now. But Enperries are still a lot of fun. But I think we'll see a little bit some of the difficulties with the Dualies here. Another thing that we're going to talk about a lot with this particular clip, I've already watched it, so I've seen it, is the issue of knowing your range and knowing when to roll. That's going to be one of my focuses here. So we roll out to the bottom using that curling bomb to get the team in faster, always a good strat. And I would have liked to see an earlier map check than this one, because you're already painting around a blind corner. If someone has rushed through mid and gotten here really quickly, they could conceivably shoot you around this corner while you're checking the map. You really want to be taking this time that you're moving through this area here to check the map, because there's nobody is going to have line of sight on you yet. This is a good time to check out the weapon builds as well as seeing which paths they're taking. So clearly there's one person going out in this direction that your teammate is already engaging. There is one person over here, so I'm concerned for your teammates' sake that they might be in a double team situation, but that might also mean that you are in a 3v2 on the bottom side and that you might be able to rush forward and get something going. We'll have to see. But another concern is you need to know where that Hydra is. Like, what position have they taken? Are they this person or are they down here somewhere? Because if they're down here, even if it is a 3v2, you need to respect that. I'd like to point out that this roller build is a little strange. They're running a lot of quick super jump, and as we'll see when they get a splat, they actually have 1.3 of quick super jump, which is more than you see on almost any weapon. So what that probably means is that they're trying to play around splashdowns. They're trying to get the splashdown in faster than you expect it to be, and so you're going to want to be especially careful about trying to punish any jumps. I don't think that situation really comes up too much for Storm in this situation, but that's something to keep an eye on. They've also got Drop Roller, which I don't know, seems a little weird to me, but I guess maybe they're trying to let people see their jumps to bait them into trying to hit them and then splashing down from there. I don't know. Everything else looks fairly standard. Dapples need to run a lot of swim speed, and Ninja Squid's not a bad idea for them to get in. This is an MPU K-Pro build, and this is pretty much exactly what I would expect a Hydra to be running. A lot of run speed. Oh, I didn't check the teammates' gear. I'll do that really quick, just as a gear review. Do a little section like that. This is a standard Double Bomb Junior. Don't run Double Bomb Junior, or if you do, run LDE instead of the second main of Inksaver sub. There's a whole section on the top 500 video coming out about why you don't want to do that, but long story short, the Junior benefits more from getting to throw one bomb and then painting a lot more than it does from throwing two bombs and then having to wait to get its ink back. It should just constantly always be painting for armor. The most efficient way to do that is with the main weapon, not with the bombs. So you're getting more out of maybe getting double bomb eventually due to LDE, but also still having that extra painting power from it. And then it's a pretty standard mini build. A lot of people are farming missiles. I think that's the missile one. That's the Zimmy. That has missiles, right? Am I wrong about that? I don't remember. I never play mini, so I don't know its kits. Okay. So I've skipped some stuff that has happened. So we check the map. We see, okay, two people are on top side. Maybe we go and help our teammate here. Not a bad thought. We know that there is one person here because your teammate got one, and then somebody got them, and we actually saw them moving around through this patch of ink. You can still see them on screen right by the time remaining. So you see them there, and okay, we get a pick. It's actually just by walking and shooting, actually just by single reticle fire. If they walk into it, sure, do it. Double reticle fire is really good for painting because you're firing in two different directions. Basically, the less accurate a weapon is, the better it is for painting. Because the shots are going to land in more different places and not in one straight narrow line. So, I mean, painting in front of them, not a bad idea. I'm surprised they went into it. What weapon was this? This is the Dapples. So right now, yeah, you are just kind of kiting them. The only thing that can outrange you on their team right now is the K-Pro. This isn't them. So you can just kind of stand there and shoot and maybe walk backwards a little bit and you win that fight that way. That's called kiting. If they had rolled forward, that might have been a lot scarier. If they had rolled forward, you would have needed to roll back in response because this weapon does have a faster kill time. It only needs 3 shots. But works out. It's kind of the combat movement that I would expect out of a shooter player rather than a Dualies, because quick reminder, when you roll with the Dualies, the reticles converge into one and you get better accuracy as well as faster fire speed, so your kill time is greatly increased. Also, in that situation, they did have height advantage, so if there were basically any other weapon than the Dapples, you would have needed to worry about that, but works out. All right, and we're going to the flank. A little bit of a couple flubs on the movement here, and those flubs, like, I don't want to harp on them too much because they will improve with time. But those kinds of things can just totally kill a flank. Like if somebody's seen you trying to jump around this, if they saw the armor come out towards you, you kind of need to be on top of them right away to be making this flank work at a high level. And so at this point, you know, if they've already seen you, you kind of just need to abandon the flank. But it looks like they haven't actually seen you. Those shots there, definitely don't do those shots. Reason being, you're out of range. And so all those shots can possibly do is alert this player that you're coming. So they see that you're coming ahead of time, and they are able to background cover here, and now you're stuck. What you want to do is maybe shoot down at your feet a little closer so that they're not getting that really scary sound effect of the shots whiffing past you, and they're not going to be able to see the paint go down like they did before. So they get away because you start shooting just a little too early. These rolls are not putting you in range of this player. It looks like you're hitting the roller, but they just splash down out of that, and the Capro ends up picking you in the meantime. In that situation, remember, the Capro, they outrange you, so they're going to back up out of your range. They're going to be in a place where you can't hit them. So at this point, unless you can close all of the distance you need to with your rolls, which you didn't, you only rolled out sideways, you didn't get a chance to roll forward closer to them, this isn't safe. You're probably going to get splatted before you can splat them. Also, you didn't get a chance to see if there's anybody up there with them, and there ended up being that roller there who you ended up hitting in the end. Your teammates aren't with you, so this is at best a 1v1 that you're in a bad position for. Ends up being a 2v1, and you're going to lose that 9 times out of 10. Teammate comes in with a really nice flank behind you, but the team looks like they aren't able to follow up. They're going to leave that teammate for dead. So now you're down 1. Going in here, not a bad idea, I think. They didn't see it. If they had been watching better, like if this Hydra's watching that, then that wouldn't have been as good of an idea. The fight here against the Dapples, they see you here. You need to be rolling already, and I would roll a second time. If you roll a second time, you're out of their range. You might get hit once or twice, but then they have to advance into you, and you're already firing. I think you don't trade if you roll backwards the second time. All right, so from here, looks like you're trying to reinforce this teammate. I'd be very concerned about making this jump because they have map control right now. They're pushed further in than your teammates are. It looks like these two teammates here, they're in a safer position. They're more out of the way of the tower path, so they're less likely to get pushed. This teammate is alone, and they're likely to try and push into them, so this is a little worrisome. You can see you've got a bomb on your jump. The Hydra is already shooting at you. You probably should have died for that, and you got fortunate that they weren't executing as well as they could have on it. I don't hate the idea of that bomb, actually. In case people didn't know, you can charge up curling bombs, and what happens is they go less distance, but they have a bigger explosion radius. It's really good for covering this particular area right here. I guess you could have maybe tried to do a bank shot off of this wall or something to keep the bomb in this area controlling this space, but that's a really good way to make sure that nobody comes over here if you have a curling bomb. The advantage, of course, of not having a curling bomb is literally any other bomb. You can just drop it right there on that spot. You don't have to worry about charging it or anything. All right, so now you're pinned down by this Hydra, but it looks like they're focused on your teammate. You notice that, and you start to move in. I like that movement. You use the jump to clear the little corner there. So this way, you are able to get over that corner without having to climb up awkwardly. You're always in control of your weapon. So that was nice. All right. So your teammate takes the tower. This is Not a bad move, but in order to support this move, they need Slayers to be pushing up in front. Otherwise, the first person they're going to run into is the defender. That's right in front of them. Or the first person the defender is going to run into is the person who's on the tower. You want the defenders to have to run into other people first so you can stall for the tower to score more points. So you need to be working to get up onto this platform right here, and you're probably the best weapon equipped to do it. Instead, we're going to go backwards here. Okay, so there is a flank. So good job noticing the flank and dealing with it. Now that will leave your tower pretty exposed, and they do end up getting picked off here. If anything, I would say just abandon that flank issue and move forward. Your teammates ended up having it anyway, and in order to keep this player safe from the people who are definitely going to be in front of them, and to keep the objective scoring, you being up here is more valuable than being behind the tower. This guy, he's far enough back that now he has to shoot way up at the tower. The tower is up over the top. So they're going to take a while to get to the tower. If you deal with the people who are in front of it first, you might be able to turn around and deal with them afterward. If they make it past both of your teammates. All right, so you've got an inkjet here. One thing that I would, well, we haven't seen too much of this so far, but one thing that I would criticize about this game in general is the way that you're using inkjets. This is something that I had to learn from one of my coaches, but basically every single inkjet, you should always have a target that you splat within the first 2 shots. If you are popping inkjet in reaction to something that's happening, like you're getting pushed on and so then you inkjet, those usually don't go well because you spend too long not being able to fire before you can get that shot off. And you're also depending on yourself to one-shot them with that shot, which some situations it's easier than others. So what you want to be doing to trigger an inkjet is go to a place where you know that there's an opponent above you, inkjet over that ledge, and one-shot them as soon as you come up over the top. It's really hard for them to see it coming. They have to really be watching the special meters at the top of the screen and see that one has been used and know to back away from the ledge. So you don't really start seeing that until you're getting up into like Div 1, Div X level play. Using it from underneath one of these ledges here would be great for doing something like catching the Hydra out. And then you can just kind of escape over the back wall to get away from things like the roller and the K-Pro that are going to try to punish you for it. So there is one of those jumps, which I think was a clip, a break between the clips. All right, so we move over to here. This would actually be a great place to inkjet from, because you have a clear line of sight to that Hydra. It's going to be a very easy shot to hit them. And then you've got a little bit of a height advantage over the guy down here, and you can back up away from them or behind the cover of the statue if they get into position to actually attack you. You're very safe from here. You only have to worry about people dropping in from mid, and they're clearly putting more of their attention toward the tower right now. So this would be a great place to put an inkjet jump, maybe like back here, or if you're feeling brave down here. The only worry there is they can see you from foils. So what we do here is we roll in. Now you've used both rolls, and you're still not in range of the Hydra, and they can see the shots that are being fired, and they're going to start moving away. Get closer to them before you roll. When you roll in, you want to already be hitting shots. You can even risk moving a little bit closer to them than you need to make sure that you're going to be in range. Because remember, this Hydra is going to be running a lot of run speed. So they're going to be trying to, even while they're shooting, run away from you and make you miss shots. And they do succeed in doing that for a while here. You get a couple of shots here, but now, again, this is a flank, and flanks need to be quick and they need to be decisive. You're in the middle of enemy ink. There's a player right here. There's a player right here. If this player was attentive at all, you'd already be dead. But they're focusing on someone who's in front, so you're lucky. You get to move close enough to the Hydra to shoot them. I don't agree with you walking and shooting here. I would want to roll again, get that faster kill time, and also gives you the ability to dodge roll in one direction. If this Hydra gets too much of a charge before you've landed the killing blow, then they splat you for sure. Like, I think my teammate Devi wouldn't have even traded here. I think they would have gotten charged fast enough to just splat you here. But you're able to get this one pick. This reactive inkjet, honestly, better off not using it. For one thing, you'll have more special when you respawn if you lose the fight. For another thing, moving backwards in the ink you just painted was a better bet than trying to inkjet at these people here. because they're just going to pick you out of the air from that. If you get behind cover or something, maybe you can stall for long enough that your teammates will see, oh, hey, these enemies' backs are turned in mid, and maybe they could try and rush them from behind or something like that, and maybe you could make something of that situation. All right. So your teammates have 3 down. It's just the Hydra you need to worry about. You need to work on... oh, okay. Well, they're right there. A map check really quick might have shown you that they were there, or it might not have. Hard to say. But whenever you're going to go around a blind corner, you want your camera to be turned in that direction as you're going around it. There's nothing you need to worry about up here, clearly. Otherwise, it would already be shooting at the tower. So have your camera turned before you move, and you'll see this Hydra a little earlier. In this situation, you can see it's already got charge. It's already firing. You go in on it, this is exactly what's going to happen. Now, you could have improved your chances by rolling and hitting your shots out of your rolls. Because if you roll up in this direction, that might throw their aim off a little bit better, and you might have your shots on faster. As it is, you're just kind of stuck in walk and shoot syndrome here. I talk about that in a lot of my videos, but basically, for those who don't know, walk and shoot syndrome is if you're just walking and holding down ZR. If you're not swim strafing, if you're not like dodge rolling or doing something to throw their aim off more than walking, you should expect to lose most fights. Okay, so the Hydra is doing a really good job of being annoying, but they're not doing a really good job of protecting the tower. You're able to pick them off before they do anything to the tower. Here, I would get on tower right there. So you got this guy who chases your teammate, and they roll off the side. From here, they are out of play to do anything to the tower. If you get up on tower, you've got one teammate who's with you who could potentially push up and help you. If this guy does eventually get up behind you guys, you've got those 2 that you can use to focus fire him. You don't need to drop down and take this guy out, and right now you guys are scoring. If you get on the tower and immediately die, you probably still get a point or 2. Also, you're at checkpoint, so it would be nice if you were able to keep it here. You've gotten rid of the Hydra. There are only so many people who are going to be in range. And as it turns out, the roller is like way off to the left side here, because that's where that curling bomb came from. So would have been a good idea to just take the tower here. They have shown that they're willing to flank behind. They did that once earlier in the game. So I don't know if maybe there was a high-level read to be made that maybe they're going that way. Maybe you check map and see that developing. I don't know. But I probably would have just tried to stay around tower, maybe take it from the back side so you had cover and might have been able to score a few more points. There's another one of those jumps from the clips. But coming back in. So it looks like you're prioritizing mid here. It might be that you're afraid of the Hydra doing that thing that they did before. But we can see the Hydra is down here. This situation, I really like that you're painting the corner here, that you're making sure you're not dropping down onto green ink. And this is exactly why, because the roller is here. What I don't like is that you stay right at the edge here and die to the roller anyway. Rollers... A lot of people underestimate how much range they have for hitting up over ledges. They can hit that probably with their horizontal swing, and their vertical swing, easy peasy, no problem. So if you see a roller down there, you really do have to kind of back away and give them some space. Once your teammates with longer range, like maybe the K-Pro or the Mini, are able to figure out what's going on down there, they have him easily from their range, but your weapon doesn't outrange it at all, basically. Like I believe their vertical swing is actually longer range than your weapon is. So you kind of have to respect that here. So you go down, they're able to get a Booyah Bomb off. That Booyah Bomb probably would have gone in there anyway. But they're probably going to take lead here. Yeah, they do. Now your teammates pop off and get 2 of them somehow, despite being 1 down in a 4v3. It's unclear exactly what happens there. That is probably the worst skip in the video here. So, okay, you go down and try and take out that roller. And the thing is, so we know that there is someone right here on the tower that will be shooting at you shortly. We also know that this roller is now behind cover. This roller can't hurt you right now. And also the tower is pushing. I say focus the person who's on tower right now instead of trying to rush around this corner. I don't know how you got around them without them splatting you, to be honest. You are able to, with the help of some crossfire from mid, take that guy out. And this guy's big brain for going to mid, maybe even small brain because it takes too long. But there's still someone on tower. I think if you focus tower, they don't necessarily score those 8 points. You might be able to put enough pressure on that the Hydra doesn't feel safe standing there, and they're not able to stay on it for as long. But because you went for someone who wasn't on the tower, who didn't have as much control over the objective, you put yourself at significantly more risk. I think you probably should have been splatted for that engagement, and the tower is able to push a little further. As it is, though, your teammates pop off. You've got an assist in there, and they've got a full wipe. So this is a really good situation to try and make a push to win. You notice that your teammate's going in with the Booyah Bomb there. You would have splatted him, absolutely, if you had not inkjetted. If you just literally get your aim on and hold ZR here, you probably didn't even have to roll. If you just shoot them from here, you get that pick. Now, going up in the inkjet actually makes it easier for the Hydra behind to hit you. They probably could have hit you anyway, maybe, but if you engage on the K-Pro, I think you at least get a trade there. I would encourage you to, in some situations, just go up the ramp instead of going mid every single time. This isn't a bad flank, but if people see you doing it 2 or 3 times in one game, especially backliners, they're usually smart about these kinds of things. They're probably going to notice, and you can see here the Hydra was already ready for it. But yeah, all of that time that you spent jetting up before you could fire a shot was time that the Hydra was shooting at you. If you had rolled and taken your shot at the K-Pro, or even maybe just held ZR longer, probably would have had him. Now the team is 3 down. They're going to have to regroup very carefully. Your junior stays in and gets splatted. Maybe they were already in too deep, hard to say. But you got to be very careful right now because your armor player is staggered from you. They have specials, you guys don't. This is still a huge disadvantage state for you. You do not want to be pushing your luck. That bomb is honestly scary because I'm worried that the Hydra is going to be shooting at you, but it pays off because this roller overextends into purple ink, and you get a pick for that. So let's see how you can snowball this here. Your teammate is flanking, so that guy is distracted, but you don't have a good way to push in against the Hydra here unless somebody does something about him. So I like that you are waiting. Ugh. You didn't wait quite fast and quite long enough. The Hydra is still shooting when you move out from behind cover here. You need to exhaust their whole charge if you're gonna make this move. If you had done that like jump roll and gone after them as soon as they're we talked about how you jumped up there and rolled over the side to get around that corner. If you had done that particular technique after they had lost their charge, I think you stand a chance of splatting them. It's not the best fight to take with the K-Pro there, but your teammate is flanking, so maybe they can do something. But as it is, they're just going to finish that off every time. Now, the Hydra is not paying attention to your teammate here, which is nice. But teammate's not able to get their shots on fast enough. So that's another stop for the enemy team. That armor that the Hydra popped is kind of a waste because the fight was already won. That was 4v2, so they really didn't need that. And the Pro, a little overzealous there, not really sure. They didn't need to be pushing up that far into enemy ink. They could have just painted out in front of the tower. I don't know. Or held their position. But as they were kind of a sitting duck, so good job cleaning that up. I think the aim is a little bit inefficient here. An X-rank player probably going to catch you from that. You probably wanted to roll down immediately so you have single reticle accuracy, and you're able to aim it a little better. Because right there, the K-Pro just fired enough shots to splat you. So X-rank level aim, you actually lose this engagement, but you did what you needed to do. Every single weapon that could possibly be on the tower right now has a faster splat time. You're lucky that they missed even for that long as you rolled down here. but every single weapon that could have been on the tower splats you there, so you have no ability to engage on that. All right, 2v2. Teammate took out the Hydra, so you're able to get control of the tower. This might be your last push. Good read on that. Good job scaring them away. Don't get the pick, unfortunately. Might have been able to do it with rolling forward, but still a good outcome, stopping them from flanking your team. And you now know that they're here. Those shots you just fired, they basically announced to the K-Pro exactly where you are, that you have dropped down and you're about to come around this corner. And they drop a bomb in front of you, I think, in response to that. Instead of painting around that corner, turn your camera to see if there's someone there and see if you can maybe get a double roll around the corner and sneak them out really quickly. Something like that. Nice. Good job punishing that overextension. Beautiful splashdown cancel. Well, let's go and take a look at this engagement right here. So you see that there's someone going up on the left, and I think you're pursuing them. But then you see this person right here, you turn around, you get that instant pick. They don't even see it coming, which is good because they were the Dapples, and if they'd held ZR, they would have won. I am very impressed by that splashdown cancel. That was really good form, because it's hard to do with the Dualies with double reticle fire. You need to get both of those shots hitting them at this. So you aim straight up immediately. You're hitting with both reticles, so you're going back, forth, and both of those shots are hitting. And right at the end, you sweep downwards so that if you didn't get enough shots at the top of their jump, maybe you get a shot on their way down before the splashdown actually triggers. So that splashdown cancel saves the tower. It's just this Hydra who's in the way. You tap them a couple of times, you force them out of position. Seeing that you're missing this much, you should probably be repositioning instead of letting them reestablish their positioning. But your teammate is able to throw a bomb and keep them off you, and you are eventually able to move into a position. I would say if you're missing even a few shots in that turret mode, you need to just start swimming and reposition. You can swim into another dodge roll and catch them that way in the same way that you did here. You can probably just move in and get position for this faster. Okay, so now you've got 3 down. You've just taken out the 4th. The rest of them are going to stagger in. There are 4 seconds left, and this is so beautiful. Your teammate is able to stay on the tower long enough to get lead literally in the last second of the game and avoid even putting it in overtime. You're just in the lead on the tower right at the end. Couldn't have timed it more beautifully. You'll love to see it. So overall, to sum things up, Enperry's, I would consider trying out T-Tech, better combat movement. If you're going to commit to the Enperry's, I would definitely consider rolling instead of aiming and walking and shooting. You're really good with your double reticle aim, but you're going to have faster kill times and more consistent shots. You're not going to, potentially miss because it went from the wrong gun if you roll. You basically always want to get your splats with a decisive roll in, get the splat, and then be able to swim away or roll away from the next one. A lot of the fights that you're taking, you miss a few shots, maybe because you're out of range, and then you have to reposition. It's really easy to kite Dualies back with a longer range weapon, because after their second roll, they just can't advance any further. That's all the gap close they've got. So you got to watch out, especially for weapons like Splatlings that have run speed, that are going to kind of walk backwards while they're shooting and maybe get out of range of you. So make sure that when you're rolling, you're going to get into range, you're going to get the pick right away, and you're going to be able to disengage as fast as possible. Because otherwise, the flank potential you've got with the curling bomb is going to be wasted. Alrighty. So that will bring us to the end of that VOD review there. Hope you found that helpful there, Storm. We'll definitely put that one up there on the YouTubes for you so that you can check it out at a time that is not the god-awful hours of the morning. Meantime, though, we've got enough time for a couple matches of private battles. So anybody who is interested, there will be no password here. I will type my friend code in chat just in case there are any of you haven't added me yet. T-Tech Lane plays Splash instead of Shot. Splash is a very popular inkjet weapon right now as well. It has Toxic Mist, so I prefer T-Tech for the Splat Bomb. But some advantages of the Splash: it is a fast mobility. It's a lightweight weapon, so it's going to move like an NZAP does very quickly. It's also perfect accuracy, even when jumping. One of the few weapons in the game that is just never going to stray away from where its reticle is pointed. Its kill time is about the same. It has a faster fire rate, but it also has a lower range, so you got to be careful with that. And it does also have inkjet, so that is an option. I still prefer T-Tech, but that's more for the kit than it is for the main weapon. Oh, did Inkjet play Bomb Rush? They want me to play Neo Splash instead. When do I get a Swid Swool VOD review? Whenever you want, Bab. Literally just DM me if you want one. I mean, you are a very mechanically skilled player relative to me, so it's going to be more of a two-way conversation than it is a coaching session, but that's something I'd totally do.
I don't think I'll be able to stay for the private battle unless we really need me. Otherwise, I gotta dip.
All right. Avery, are you on your way in?
Yeah, I was just finishing up a regular.
All right, sure thing.
Mode.
With Avery,
So we would just need one more player to have 8.
But yeah,
I think we talked about it like a week ago. Hey, yeah, just Wednesday, do a Pokemon Unite stream, you know? Something like that. Oh, it says rip stream. You're right.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
Type something in chat just to let people know about the technical difficulties. One top right. Oh wait, we're
Oh.
right.